American tort law comes from the English common law, and though there is an equivalent concept in European civil law. And the way that the common law of torts started out in England was that there were certain royal writs or causes of action that were created that covered situations that now we would refer to as torts. Most obvious one being someone who intentionally harmed someone else by, say, striking them with a sword or something like that. And you could then go to the royal courts and seek damages against the wrongdoer. Now, gradually over time, that was expanded to more and more situations where someone injured someone else or damaged someone else's property, whether it was intentional or whether it was accidental. Tort law is related to property and contract law in that they are all from the common law of England, first of all, and they all involve private actions, mostly in private wrongs. So a property dispute, a contract dispute, or a tort dispute all involve people who are private people, and they have brought the action without the government necessarily being involved except to resolve the dispute. Now, you could say that all of these also involve transactions or economic matters at least some of the time, right? That is, that's more obvious for property and contracts, but torts can also involve economic transactions that go badly wrong and lead to an injury or property damage. Or you might more broadly say that economic activity is to some degree at the root of many tort cases, or were. So if there's a carriage accident, for example, I mean, someone's presumably going somewhere, whether it's for business or personal travel, and the carriage gets in an accident. Okay, so the tort is kind of an outgrowth of economic activity. So you might say that the growth of commerce, whether you want to call it the Industrial Revolution or other things like that, had a relationship to the evolution of the common law in all of these areas, maybe more particularly for torts because transportation is a big source of tort actions. And so as we got to, say, trains and cars and so on, then tort law became probably more prominent than it had been in earlier centuries. But it took hundreds of years for these concepts to evolve to the point where people thought of torts as a thing. That really didn't happen until the late 18th century, maybe 19th century, where these different kinds of injuries or remedies were then put together into a category called torts and thought of as being a single thing.